In 1982, when I was burned, we had no insurance. Like so many out there, it was just an expense that we couldn't afford. Times were tough. And when I was initially injured, we had over $2 million in expected medical costs. As you can imagine, this is not something we had set aside in our emergency fund. And not really knowing where to turn, the Shriners contacted us and said, we're not worried about your ability to pay. We're going to give you world-class medical care. And so they took care of me. They moved my mother and I to Cincinnati. I spent the next 10 weeks there, had about 15 surgeries just in the first 10 weeks. Then they treated me from when I was 8 to 21. Who knows what that total bill would have been? I can just tell you it's something we would have never have been able to do on our own. Well, I was 8 and my friend was 7, and my mother had asked us to warn my neighbor about an aggressive yellow jacket's nest they had in their yard. So my friend and I went across the street to tell the dad about the nest. Unfortunately, the dad wasn't home, but his 15-year-old daughter was. We told her about the nest. She asked us to show her where this nest was. We went out there and we showed her right on the other side of the driveway the yellow jackets. She then asked us to help her get rid of them. She goes, I just want you to stand here to make sure the bees don't leave the nest. She grabbed a match and threw a match down. And as you can imagine, a match by itself will do nothing, right? So we're standing there, my friend and I, about 10 feet away, watching the bees fly in and out of the nest. Next thing we know, she's standing behind us with a cup of gasoline. She pitches it without saying a word, splashes me on my right side, hits my friend on his left side, hits that spark of a match, and immediately we were engulfed in flames. Luckily, I remembered to roll. I put my fire out. My friend was still standing there screaming, grabbed a hose and was able to put him out. I do remember just complete shock, disbelief. You really don't comprehend what has happened. You have no idea of what your life's about to be. I looked at my friend. He's completely charred. You know, our skin is literally melting, hanging off. So many kids started calling me Freddy Krueger. I remember crying myself to sleep at night thinking about this. Eventually you start adapting. You realize this is what the new life is. I either need to toughen up and move on or feel sorry for myself. The latter was not an option. And so when kids started calling me Freddy Krueger, I started responding, yes, and I'll see you in your dreams tonight. Good luck. Probably the first 3 years were the hardest because I couldn't use my arm and my neck, and so it really caught a lot of attention. I also had to wear plastic braces. I had to wear a compression suit. I had to wear all this stuff 22 hours a day for 3 years. People are used to seeing people in wheelchairs. They're used to seeing amputees, but they're not used to seeing burn survivors. These scars stick out. They cause a lot of attention, and people look at my scars today and they think it's always looked like this. I mean, this is nothing. I mean, these look great. If you could have seen what it looked like 30 years ago, these scars were half an inch thick. They were bright red. They cause a lot of attention. And I've started doing this contest and all these postings on Facebook and Twitter. People are like, hey, you never realized this, but you motivated me. You made me realize that my birthmark wasn't that big of a deal, or you made me realize that my big ears weren't a big deal. And I tell people all the time, I truly consider myself lucky. If you look at everything I've experienced in life, what have I ever missed out on as a result of being burned? Nothing. I've got a phenomenal wife, 4 kids, I've got a great faith, incredible friends, a family that will do anything for me. What more can you ask for in life?